Poland ready to send tanks without Germany's consent, PM says.
Here's a summary of the article.
Poland is ready to go alone and send tanks to Ukraine even without Germany's permission, Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki said on Wednesday. Poland has pledged to send 14 Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine. Since the tanks are German-made, it needs Berlin's approval, which Chancellor Olaf Scholz has yet to provide. Several of Germany's European allies have been asking Berlin to approve the re-export of its Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine, but the German government itself is waiting on the United States to make the first move. Here, the most important thing is that the Germans offer their modern tanks, their modern equipment, as soon as possible, because the ability to defend freedom in Ukraine may depend on it, and so the security of all Europe will depend on it, Morawiecki said. Last week, Polish President Andrzej Duda said his country would hand over a company of Leopard tanks to Ukraine as part of international coalition building. Finnish President Sauli Niinisto then said his country also provide a limited number of tanks, since Finland borders on Russia and is not part of NATO. The UK has also officially pledged to supply Ukraine with some of its own tanks, the British Challenger 2s. Ukraine has been pressing its Western allies to deliver armoured tanks in the past few weeks, saying it needs hundreds to launch a major counter-offensive against Russia in the spring.
This post received a score of 40,000, with an upvote ratio of 88%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Poland doing the "hold me back, bro" thing again.
To be fair, Poland's efforts to aid Ukraine are absolutely fantastic and cannot be knocked.
They're also incredibly advantageous to Poland. Despite what some folks around these parts might want to believe, Poland is the next stop for Russia, if Putin is able to somehow take Ukraine. Putin wants to test Article 5 and the resolve of NATO's members, because he has more to gain if his gamble is correct than he would stand to lose if he was wrong. Poland giving aid to Ukraine helps to prevent that eventuality from ever happening at all, down the line.
Outright annexation of Belarus would be next, then Moldova. After that, Kazakhstan. Why risk a war with NATO when there's still juicy targets left? Edit. No, Belarus isn't already part of Russia. Lukashenko clearly isn't doing what Putin wants him to. He can't get the Belarusians under control, see the recent election and protests, and he isn't sending soldiers to fight Ukraine. At the moment, Russia has to fix Belarus' problems, while they're not getting much in return. That's why an outright annexation would be a pretty high priority.
He will do his best to fracture NATO long before testing NATO.
Imagine if Trump was president still. He seemed like he was against NATO.
He was absolutely against NATO. He explicitly talked about pulling the US out of NATO repeatedly and might have even tried to get that going, and he cut funding to it too. At the time the American public felt absolutely no worry or concern about Russia, though. Edit. Please stop replying suggesting that Trump had good intentions for doing any of these things. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I'm sick of getting the same responses over and over.
The American public as a whole, the collective knowledge, yeah, we had no clue. Individuals, we absolutely saw it and were mega demoralized because everyone thought we were crazy.
I will admit that I was among those who scoffed at Mitt Romney back in 2012 when he kept talking about the dangers of Russia. But he was absolutely right, and I was wrong to be so dismissive of it.
Election in Poland coming? I think they can send tanks anyway. Poland wants to send tanks without Germany consent is okay, because last time Germany sent tanks without Poland consents.
Germany has said repeatedly that they will not block, deny any re-export requests, but no country so far has made any requests.
You mean the consent they never asked for? You mean the consent that Germany's Mo said he was perfectly happy to give if anyone wanted to send the tanks?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.